Thanks for staying with us. We'll be starting the newspaper reviews with The Nation. Major headline: Governors lose financial control over local government. Ex-minister on 33.8 billion fraud trial collapses outside courtroom. Enter 43rd Olubadan Olakulehin. A court upholds Ododo's election as Kogi governor. Government oil producers agree on crude supply to local refineries. Colloquium for Olatunji Dare at 80 holds July 17. Troop foil terrorist plan. Akpabio wants PSC, IG, Egbetokun over police recruitment face-off. What stories do we have in The Nation?
Okay, so I have the major headline, which is Proponents of local government autonomy scored a major victory yesterday as the Supreme Court stripped governors of financial control over councils. The highest court effectively freed the third tier from the control of the state governments by restraining governors from further managing or utilizing allocations meant for it. It held in a judgment that it was wrong for a state government to retain and utilize local governments' statutory allocations paid through them. A 7-member panel declared unlawful the running of local governments by non-elected and appointed officials. The court declared as gross misconduct the dissolution of democratically elected local governments by governors whose responsibility under Section 7 of the 1999 Constitution is to ensure their existence. It barred the federal government from releasing funds to local governments managed by undemocratically elected officials, such as caretaker committee. It was also realized that so many states, over 20 states in Nigeria, actually dissolved the local government and then formed their own caretaker committees because they wanted to control the funds. So this judgment has taken care of that. They also stated that a state joint local government account will be funded, where will be put together, where the federal government can pay allocations directly to them. The President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, held the verdict, saying it aligned with his administration's renewed hope agenda, which prioritized the people's interest. He stressed that the onus is now on local council leaders to ensure that the broad spectrum of Nigerians living at all levels are satisfied and they are benefiting from people-oriented service delivery. So this is a good one. So now the local governments can, which deal directly with the people now, can have access to funds and they can do stuff for their community because they are the ones that really understand the needs of the community anyways.
We can hold them by the job.
Yes, and we can hold them accountable.
Government chairman.
Yes. Government chairmen also have their own lawmaking body called their parliament.
Yes.
Yes.
And so they have their own structure, exactly as we have in the federal state,
Exactly.
replicated in the local. So now, every money that comes, if you don't see your road developed, you know who to hold.
Yeah.
And your local government chairman cannot tell you, governor, have not given us.
Yes.
So I have the federal government and oil producers story. The federal government and crude oil producers have held a meeting and agreed to work towards a sustainable supply of crude oil to local refineries. The oil producers under the umbrella of Oil Producers Trade Section of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce had a virtual meeting with the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission and international oil companies. And the Commission Chief Executive, Gbenga Komolafe, was saying this new framework is to ensure seamless operationalism of domestic crude oil supply obligation template. It says that, contrary to what people believe, this is not a meeting to placate anybody, but a meeting to ensure energy security in the country. He said, as a regulator, their business is to interface between producers and the refiners to ensure that there's a delicate balance. You know, recently we're hearing rounds that, landing costs, clinical costs, and all of those costs. But now they're looking inwards and ensuring that, they will supply appropriately. And I hope it will ease the lives of Nigerians. I hope that at the end of this whole meeting, the final intention is to better the lives of Nigerians and consumers. Yeah.
Ramatu?
Okay, so I have the story of the ex-minister on the 33.8 billion fraud. He said he collapsed outside the courtroom. I don't know why they are collapsing outside the courtroom.
Stress now.
Yeah, anxiety.
So they said the former power minister, Minister Saleh Moman, had his arraignment shifted from morning till afternoon yesterday after he collapsed in front of the courtroom at the Federal High Court in Abuja. In the amended charge marked the ex-minister is alleged to have laundered over 33 billion and acquired properties through proxies. He pleaded not guilty to the charge brought against him by the EFCC, which the prosecuting lawyer, Fisika, sought a date for the commencement of trial. So the defendant's lawyer wanted to, as the defense lawyer, he wanted to shift the day since he collapsed. They said he came in his brown kaftan with his cap, and then, they wanted to shift the date, but the defendant lawyer said no, that they can't shift the date and all. So the judge then adjourned till today for the hearing of the bail application and ordered that the defendant be remanded in the Kuje Correctional Center. Ew. When he heard that, he said no, that, okay, he's now ready, he can come and, face the judge. So they said the defendant, who the lawyer said, yes, he got up. He said he was ill, looked dejected while stepping off the dock shortly after the judge's pronouncement. And as when the case was again called, the ex-minister walked into the courtroom and later into the dock. Then the judge now asked him, why are you wet? Did you sweat or was the rain, did the rain beat you? He now said no, that that they poured water on his body.
To revive him.
To revive him.
Oh, wow.
No, and so they now said, okay, is he now ready? He said yes. So they now said that the defendant then told the court that he collapsed outside the courtroom because of the drugs he took. He said he did not eat before taking the drugs, adding that while he was outside the courtroom waiting to be called in, his blood pressure dropped, which accounted for what happened.
But the bottom line now is that he's okay.
He's okay now, and
the case can continue.
Yes, the case can continue.
Right.
He said the case by 1 p.m.
Yeah, anything can happen.
We cannot.
Yeah, that's what the judge said.
Cases.
He just said anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Yeah. So the defense headquarters, DHQ, on Thursday raised fresh alarm over the alleged plans by terrorists to attack critical infrastructure in the country. Director of Defense Media Operations, DMO, Major General Edward Buba, was the one who disclosed this to defense correspondents in Abuja at a bi-weekly briefing on the ongoing military operations in the various theaters of operations against the insurgency and activities across the country in the last 1 week. However, he assured the nation that the military high command was doing everything possible to stop the dastardly act. And according to him, he said, we are aware of some of the plans to target some critical infrastructure in the country. Accordingly, we have emplaced measures to forestall such plans. Security agencies responsible for securing critical infrastructure and facilities have also been placed on alert. Accordingly, some of such plans have been frustrated. So he went ahead to explain that the military was keeping up with the pressure through their ongoing operatives and operations in active theaters across the country where these things are happening, the Northeast, the Northwest, North Central, South, Northeast, and Northwest, and said those places have actually the highest level of intensity. And according to him, he says, these operations are complex as troops are engaged in fighting difficult terrains as well as fighting adversaries that adopt various forms across the country. They said, clearly we have boots on ground and we are fighting in several dimensions to crush the enemy. So they gave us a few of the things that they have achieved so far. He said that during the week under review, troops neutralized 187 and arrested 183 persons, while troops also arrested 26 perpetrators of all thefts and rescued 109 kidnapped hostages. They were able to recover 128 assorted weapons, 3,300 assorted ammunition. Then they had to now break down all the AK-47, locally fabricated guns, and everything they have recovered so far. So well done to our troops. They are doing great. So we'll take it.